The school bully seized her by the collar, slamming her against the bridge rail with a force that echoed through the stunned crowd. His venomous words, cruel names no child should ever endure, spilling into the air. The onlookers stood paralyzed, their silence a heavy shroud. The entire school conspired to bury the incident until the quiet black girl took an action that left everyone reeling. It was a frigid Friday morning when students in crisp white uniforms poured out of St. Amber Academy's main building, heading toward the footbridge over the murky river. The bridge, a shortcut and the school's favorite blind spot, carried a chill that matched the tension in the air. Mara Keys walked alone, as she always did, 17, black, a scholarship student from South Atlanta. Her black blouse stood out starkly against the sea of white, not from defiance, but from necessity. Her family couldn't replace the last one torn during gym class. No one spoke of it, neither teachers nor classmates, leaving her to bear the weight of their stares, snickers, and whispers masked as fake smiles and thinly veiled slurs. "She's only here because of diversity funding," a girl had once hissed. "Probably doesn't even know who her real dad is," a boy sneered a week ago. Yet none of that pierced her heart like Brandon Miles did. Tall, white, blue-eyed, with perfectly tousled blonde hair, Brandon's last name wielded power. His dad on the board, his uncle funding the new gym, his mom hosting charity dinners that excluded black families. He despised Mara, not for any wrong she'd done, but for her silence that outshone his noise, her top grades that silenced teachers, her quiet presence that claimed a right to the same air as his elite circle. That morning, the news of Mara's nomination for a state-level Academic Excellence Award, the first black student from St. Amber in over a decade, ignited his fury. He couldn't let it stand. Mara stood by the bridge rail, earbuds in, gazing at the gray, secretive river, its cold stillness her only solace. She didn't hear the footsteps, didn't see the students slowing down, phones raised like weapons. Then, hey, Brandon's voice sliced through the air. Before she could turn, he grabbed her arm and shoved her against the metal railing. Gasps erupted, her earbuds fell, her books scattered. She didn't scream or cry. She met his eyes with a calm that trembled with suppressed rage. "What the hell is wrong with you?" she asked, her voice steady yet dangerously low. "You think you can waltz in, steal our awards, our spots, and act like you belong?" Brandon snarled, his face contorted with hate. Mara held his gaze one beat, two, then whispered, "I do belong." That ignited him. "You don't belong anywhere near us, you charity case freak. You'll never be like us." His hands gripped her collar tighter, phones capturing every moment. No one moved to help. "I'll make sure everyone sees who you really are," he spat. Time slowed. In her mind, Mara was back in her dad's garage at age 10, sweat-soaked in a tattered GI, his voice a lifeline. Asterisk, if someone ever grabs you, don't panic. Breathe, then act. Asterisk, she exhaled, a surge of instinct guiding her. With a swift twist, she ducked under his arm, seized his elbow, and pivoted. Brandon flipped over the rail, crashing onto the concrete walkway, the air knocked from his lungs. Silence fell, broken only by the skid of a single shoe. Mara straightened her shirt, staring down at him, red-faced, stunned. "I told you," she said, her voice sharp as a blade. "I belong." The crowd gaped, phones still rolling, faces frozen in shock. No one laughed. Not even Brandon's crew. Not Chloe, who once rolled her eyes at Mara. Not Mr. Greaves, who preached colorblindness while favoring white students. Brandon groaned, struggling to rise, but Mara didn't touch him again. She didn't need to. By nightfall, the video hit TikTok. Rich white bully gets wrecked by black girl who's had enough. By morning, it had 4.2 million views, a digital explosion that rocked the internet. Headlines shifted from "Fight on Bridge" to "Black Girl Defends Herself," exposes racism at St. Amber Academy. Mara's name trending worldwide. Yet the next morning at St. Amber, silence reigned. Mara walked through the gates as if untouched, the whispers gone, the girls who once ignored her stepping aside. Brandon was absent. Rumors said his parents pulled him for safety, though they were scrambling to salvage the Miles name from scandal. Hashtags like hashtag Stand With Mara and hashtag Amber is Racist spread like wildfire, unearthing his racist tweets, group chat screenshots, and a video mocking a black janitor. His college acceptances vanished. Brands ditched his family's businesses, and protest signs covered his uncle's gym nameplate. Asterisk, you raised a bully. We raised our voices. Asterisk, that afternoon, the principal called a closed assembly, her voice stiff. Due to a recent situation, we remind you of respect and tolerance. No apology, no names, no accountability. Mara, seated in the front row, felt a familiar weight in her chest. The burden of years silenced, of playing nice to avoid threatening others. Not today. She stood, every eye on her. Respect isn't silence, she declared, her voice trembling with emotion. Tolerance means nothing when it only protects people like Brandon. Gasps filled the room. Let's talk about what happened. How no one helped when I was bullied. How this school let him hurt others for years. Abe Mensah, a Ghanaian junior, rose, his voice breaking. I filed a complaint last year. No one followed up. Janelle Ricks, a mixed-race artist, added, tears in her eyes, he ripped my sketchbook. They said, don't make drama. One by one, voices rose, stories of classroom jokes, targeted locker checks, awards denied despite higher grades. That night, news crews from CNN, BET, and Atlanta stations swarmed the gates. Mara hesitated, but her dad's words pierced her. This ain't just your story now. It's everyone's. She stepped forward, microphone in hand, her voice steady. I defended myself. That's not the crime. The crime is how long I had to wait. The school's damage control faltered. Its statement calling Mara's actions regretful but understandable couldn't stem the tide. More videos leaked, more students spoke. A former teacher admitted fleeing the toxic racism. Within 2 weeks, the head of discipline was fired, the principal suspended, and Brandon expelled. The Miles family's lawsuit for emotional damage crumbled as public opinion turned. Mara didn't revel in it. She walked to class, sat at her lunch spot, hoodie up for peace. But now, nods greeted her. Whispers of "you changed everything" followed. Her inbox overflowed with college offers, interview requests, and a message from a girl in Detroit. Watching you stand up made me believe I can too. Mara smiled, a lightness lifting her heart for the first time in years. That if you believe voices like Mara's deserve to be heard, don't just scroll. Subscribe and help us share stories that challenge injustice, shatter silence, and uplift the overlooked.